everyone. Welcome to yet another session on soft skills and interpersonal communication with me, Waheeda, Assistant Professor at the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. In today's session, we are going to talk about etiquette. What etiquettes are, how many types are there, and how we should be behaving and set of mannerisms that we need to follow in set of surroundings. In today's video, we are going to talk about phone etiquette, which is very important part in our life. This set of rules that have been mapped out by the society as to how to follow the rules, forms, and also the practices that we have established behavior in social and professional life. There are several rules and many aspects of life to this. So we are going to discuss all of them in detail and in particular about how we should be talking on the telephone, what telephone etiquette is all about. So here's in detail. Phone etiquette is the way you represent yourself through telephonic communication or telephone conversation. It can be any formal business to customers and co-workers, or it can be any informal or friendly to friends and family members. We make calls on a daily basis, several hundreds of calls we are making to our friends, sometimes to our family members to know their whereabouts, their well-being and other things. But in particular, when we are doing any formal call, we need to follow certain rules and regulations which are adhering to the rules and regulations mapped out by the society and also some organizations. So it is more than just being polite and more than just being professional on the phone. It is a key skill mainly for sales calls and other customer calls, where you need to build rapport and also you need to convey value to your personality and also to the customer that you are talking to. So we need to have professional. What we need is, first of all, we need some kind of professionalism when we are talking to somebody, speaking over the phone to somebody, mostly on a professional platform. So communicating with telephone manners always shows your professionalism, how well mannered or how well groomed you are in your mannerisms and all, and about your impression, what kind of impression that you are holding in the society, that you will show through your telephonic conversation and communication, which has a lasting effect. How you speak to the people on the phone when you meet them, also that kind of that feeling and that type of rapport that you have created with them follows. It is etiquette which makes the receiver feel respected also. The way that you address them, the way that you give them respect by taking their name and using your professionalism, your tone of voice, your pitch of voice, and how humble and how polite you are with them creates a rapport with them. Maybe because of that you will be able to end up a deal with them and also commit a sale pitch all as well. Then what it builds, it needs loyalty and trust. Telephone etiquette also builds the trust of your potential customer. It makes them loyal to you and purchases the products and services from you frequently. This works in informal situations also. If you are talking to them from day to day, maybe you are in contact with them and you are purchasing their products, and it will also help them have a frequent conversation with you. And your customer satisfaction also depends on the way that you communicate with your customers. They get satisfied with telephone conversation, then they are willing to buy your products or they are willing to take your services. And it gives them a consistent and well-rounded experience about your product or your services that you are offering to them. And another important thing is the importance of phone etiquette. According to research, the average person spends 4 hours and 37 minutes on their phone every day. So it becomes mandatory to know about its basic telephone manners and etiquette. Without that, we might end up doing wrong calls or wrong methodology if we are employing, and we complain that our sales are not reaching we are not able to reach our targets, and we are not able to do our, so there might be some kind of lagging, or there might be some kind of lacking in the way that you communicate to your customer. So if you follow these certain rules that I'm going to tell you, then you might be a successful business person and a successful communicator. And also, I mean, as the soft skills go hand in hand, how you know to get along with people, and when you are talking over the phone for around 4 hours, 4.5 hours, it says that your waking hours, half of your waking hours are spent over the telephone. The way that you communicate depends all on the mannerism that you have learned through your calling, which is also included. And then what are the things that are included in a good phone etiquette? Your greetings, how you greet the people, are very important. The moment that you receive the call, or the moment that you call somebody, you need to greet them properly, appropriate to the time. If it is morning time, appropriately, afternoon, evening, and VRs of this. If you are calling somebody, or the international call, when they are on the other side of the time zone, then you also should know how to greet people. And your body language, you do not think that you can just lie in your bed and you can communicate, since nobody is seeing you over the phone, if it is a voice call. No, that also makes sense. The kind of voice that comes out when you're relaxed or cozy in your bed differs from the way that you are sitting on the table, on the chair, on your workplace, or in the place that you should be calling from. It has a different kind of tone and the way that you speak. So your body language, even in telephonic conversation, matters a lot. And then the tone of voice. If you are going through some kind of trauma or some kind of unhappiness in your life, it will show, it will reflect on you. And the kind of business that you are doing, whether it is a successful business or whether it is a failure business, it will show through your tone of voice. So we need to be very careful as to what kind of impression that we are giving to our caller when we are not doing a particular type of voice. And then again, the tact, how well we are we are tactful in dealing with our callers. Word choice, very important. Certain times people end up using the wrong word on the wrong time. So here again, this greeting or this way of telephone etiquette is bad way of doing it. Then be an active listener. Always, in all walks of life, being a good listener will pay you. That is one of the most important aspect or attributes of successful people. If you ask successful people what is the reason of their success, they would say that it is the active listening, or they have been active listeners. That's why they are successful in life. And then good closing. You should not abruptly end up your call. You should say proper greeting, and you should even say a proper closing, so that the customer or your you are convinced, and as a caller you are convincing to the receiver, and as a receiver you are convinced by the caller. Then comes how you receive it. We are going to do it in detail. What are the things that are included in telephone etiquette? Greeting, as I say, the way you greet your caller may be warm, and it must be pleasant also. The call should get a feel that you are alert and are attentive to their call. It is not that your attention is divided somewhere and you are giving half thought and half attention to your caller. The cheerful and also the positive greeting will get back the same enthusiasm. It is like vice versa. The way that you talk, initiate the conversation will also have the same kind of reciprocation. Start with a proper salutation. Thank you for calling, or a brief introduction of yourself and the business, and then inquire about the reason for calling. You can even say, how may I help you on this, when you are receiving a call. Then comes the body language. As I told you, gestures, facial expressions, body language, they also have an impact while you communicate on the telephone as well. While you talk on the phone, cheerful voice and bright tone give the feeling to the receiver that you are relaxed and you are also at ease. Thus, it plays a very significant role even when you talk over the phone, and professional body language gives a good impression to your caller. Okay, this is very important in all aspects. And the voice that you employ, the tone of the voice, it tells a lot of things about what kind of upbringing that you have, what kind of mannerisms that you have acquired over time, and what is your thinking process, and what is your state of being. All these things are a welcome to the attitude or the type of personality that you are holding. This is the attitude on the phone, gives customers that opinions about your business. As I told you, this attitude is conveyed through the tone you adapt to talk. The tone of your voice should be confident, as well as it should be respectful towards the caller. A pleasant pitch of voice gives a sweet note to the ears, like the picture suggests. When you look at the girl that she's talking, the girl that is talking over the phone, you will get the idea as to what the tone of the voice can do to a person. Sometimes it becomes inadvertent to inform unpleasant, upsetting, and sensitive information over the phone. At such times, it becomes very imperative to handle the situation tactfully. The choice of words, or it should be soft yet stern, and it should not at all the time offend the caller. You should be very tactful as to the choice of words that you are employing over there. And then the word choice, as I told you, the other party, how you are dealing with them. Then comes the active listening. As I told you before, it is very important, even over the phone, that active listening is very important. You should give your undivided attention to your caller. Then while you are ending, thanks for calling, have a great day. You can say this by closing your call, bidding a goodbye, and also always thank your customer and ensure that all that he wants to convey is completed. This ensures that customers, that your business is a customer driven one, and it also that the customer hangs up the call. This ensures that they are accidentally hang ups. So this by this you should know if you have convinced your customer or not. If you end up the call, the customer might be wanting to ask a few more questions. So it is better you allow the customer to keep the phone call first. This is actually the training that we get in our customer concerned things and all. And then we come to the 7 P's of phone etiquette. Preparedness. We need to be prepared. We need to be present, polite, patient, personable, professional, and proactive when we are calling or making a call to our customers. So what are these? It may seem like there is not much to prepare when you haven't even started the call, but it's very important for the call to be efficient and also unproblematic for both the parties, which is why you should be prepared before calling if it is needed. Make sure you are in a quiet and relaxed environment before calling. If you are in public, go to a quieter place. Sometimes people call us and we are not able to hear. We are hearing the sounds of honking, traffic, and also there is pollution. there's so much of talking going on. So it might give a very bad impression to your caller. Eliminate network problems, noise barriers, and even additional distractions. Like we need to go to a quieter place and make sure that the internet or the network is proper and no noise barriers are there. Then we need to be prepared. Hates people Since people hate sales calls, it is important for salesperson to keep their calls extremely concise, short, and valuable. Usually on a daily basis we get calls from banks, isn't it, inquiring whether we want any loan or any amount from the banks, and also some the real estate people are calling us on a daily basis. So we do not want to listen, because we are not in a position to buy the land. We do not like to entertain their calls. So as a caller we need to be cautious about it. We need to be understanding their position at that time, and we need to be extremely concise. Do not be verbose when you are calling somebody. Do not fall into deep conversations without confirming whether they are in a position to talk to you or not. Usually when we are in a very important meeting, or when we are in the middle of something very important, we get calls and we get irritated because of these calls, and we want to end the conversation. So that's why we need to keep this in mind, that when we are calling somebody or when we are receiving somebody's call, we need to know the place, whether it is right to receive that call or not. All the topics are going to talk about in the call. If needed, write down the topics on a notepad and refer to it while you are calling. So the most important thing is that it is we might, in due course of time, when we are conversing with our caller, we might forget what are the things that after putting down the phone, and then when we realize that we have missed out on that, and when we call them back, they might even feel irritated. So avoid this kind of things. Then set out the purpose, why you are calling early, and every single call should have a goal. Don't call somebody without any purpose, or just for that you have time. In order to meet that goal, both the parties need to be on the same page from the start. There's no awkwardness in stating the point of call early, on as long as it's done right. Be clear and concise, but you need to be friendly. Do not show rudeness by just hanging the phone down. Okay, then you need to be present. That is, you need to give your full attention to your caller. Again, we need to be very polite. Manners cost nothing. And we don't yell into the phone. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't talk over the other person, or interrupt them when they are talking. Wait for them to finish talking. Okay, then be patient. If it is important to be patient with the call, especially if they are your customers or potential customers, you need to answer all the questions, queries that they have. Don't be frustrated with the speaker. Allow them some time if they are having difficulties with your call, or wait before reciting anything you want the other person to know. Then let them gather any noting material such as pen or any notepad that they want to have. Be personable. It goes two ways. Try to be personable if possible. It is important for the caller to feel relaxed and to talk to you. Okay. Then comes being professional. Your communication skills play a massive role in your professionalism over the phone. Also, your tone of voice, your pitch, the rate at which you speak, your articulation, your pronunciation, and also your diction all matter. Smile before answering and when speaking to callers. This may sound silly, but it actually improves the perception of your clarity to the callers due to physiological reasons, which is why we recommend this to you too. Then proactive. All callers dislike feeling of uncertainty after a business call has ended. Then being proactive also sets some rules are answer quickly. Customers want to know you care about them, and leaving the phone ringing conveys a lack of urgency. It may even cause prospects to believe that the customer service isn't the priority at your organization. It may also seem rude. And for example, if you are getting a business call, for example, or if you are having any interview call, pick it immediately so that the caller doesn't get irritated. And also, when you are receiving any call, introduce yourself, and when you are calling somebody also, you introduce yourself. This is an era of social media, it is because it is easy to assume that business contacts have checked you all in LinkedIn and already they know about you, but it is different over the phone. So it is mandatory that you should be speaking very politely with them. Make sure the timing is also appropriate. Sometimes um, you are calling when they are in the middle of very important meeting, or in the middle of very important thing that they are doing, or sometimes when we are talking overseas, the time zone is not appropriate. They might be in deep sleep and we are calling them and they are getting irritated by our call. Make sure that it is the right time, and if you have to call it is urgent, then make a call and immediately apologize for them calling it this odd hour like that. Okay, it is very important, as you never know what they are doing, because you might have reached them at a wrong time as well. And ask questions such as, is it the right time to talk? Can you spare a few minutes so that I can, are you free to talk right now, or should I call you at some other time? Things like that. Do not feel offended if they are unable to talk to you. Simply call when they can call again, or let them call you at their convenience. Then do not feel offended if they are unable to talk. Simply call them again. Okay, speak clearly. You do not murmur, do not eat anything while you are speaking over the phone, or do not chewing gum. The sound is different when you are chewing some chewing gum, or you are eating your breakfast or dinner. The morsel is in your mouth and you are trying to utter something. They might it might sound something else and misunderstandings might get created. This might sound obvious, but we are not as used to speaking on the phone as we used to be. Like when your voice is your only mode of communication, without facial expressions and body language, it is vital that you speak clearly, and an appropriate volume is also. If you are shouting or if you are very soft, both the ways, if you are very slow and if you are very fast, while there can be a little bit of effort, numbling will betray a lack of knowledge or confidence. Then master brand tone of voice. You know that tone of voice branding your marketing team has been pushing on you. When the phone rings, it's time to use it. The most successful brands these days have a cohesive tone of voice across the platforms, including in the external calls as well. If someone calls up a brand that presents itself as friendly and caring, only to be met with a cold response, it will be jarring then. Similarly, if the caller expects a professional corporate tone and discovers an overly casual voice on the other end of the phone, the brand will feel less authentic. So you need to maintain that code of conduct, the mannerisms, the tone of voice, and also the smiling professionalism that you must be showcasing in your personality. That document and work out with that. And ask before putting someone on hold or transferring their call. It is simply courtesy that all too often overworked. Asking the person on the other end of the phone before you transfer them or put them on hold will go a long way to easing their journey with you. And also, simply pressing the button with no warning will come across as rude, and with no timeline in mind, the caller may simply hang up. So tell them how much time will be needed, just a second or just a minute or just a moment. If you say, and I will put your call on hold, and meanwhile I will transfer it to you, things like that. You can use this. Stay positive, very important in all walks of life. If you are having a positive attitude. Be positive all the only in case of corona it was good to be negative, but in all the aspects of our life it is good to be positive, to have an optimistic attitude towards your life will save you from lot of confusion, lot of procrastination, lot of stress, lot of depression and things like that. So the trickiest one on the list is staying positive is vital for those representing their company over the phone, even when dealing with complaints. Yes, understand the feeling or the state of being of your customer who has got a wrong product, and he has spent a lot of money on the product, and the person has received a damaged product. So what is the state of being? If you are able to understand, if you are able to be empathetic towards that person's feeling, you will deal with them in a very polite manner. Don't be afraid to switch mediums. It can, people may be asking that in reality that it's too 2024 and many people hate speaking on the phone as well. Some workplace situations speaking on the phone is completely unavoidable, but when trying to build a strong relationship with a new contact, consider asking them for their medium of choice. That is also a very good way of doing that. Voicemail etiquette again, if you have to leave a message, state your name first, then phone number, date and reason for calling. You just don't leave an ambiguous call so that the person is confused and do not know where to reach you. So repeat your number as well, and at the end slowly. If it is your voicemail, make sure to keep it concise and professional yet personal. Do not be verbose again. Do not talk so many things over the phone.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.